All right, so this weekend, Sunday, Clash in Paris. That's right, Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern time start, as they are in Paris. That's the name right there, of course. And our pal, of course, is Cheap Heat, WWE host, ESPN New York, Don Hahn and Rosenberg. Peter Rosenberg, Renaissance man. He's involved in
Thank you.
everything, who we
Thank
love
you.
having on the program, who finally, after Peter appearing on my show for several years now, finally got to meet you in person a few weeks ago up there at MetLife Stadium for SummerSlam.
I know. What a random hidden bonus. I didn't expect a ZASLOW family sighting in person at the big Venetian blind up in New Jersey known as MetLife Stadium.
That was a fun weekend, man. Oh my God. Me and my son had such a good time. I actually, honest to God, it was like 3 days ago, was my first glance at what that credit card bill was based on that weekend. It was Peter, it was ugly.
I have to imagine it was ugly. You guys stayed in the city. You went both nights, right?
Yep.
Yeah, both nights in the city, a hotel. You had to get some meals. Did you buy him any merch?
We bought one shirt, no big deal, but I mean, ringside both nights. You know, it was
Look at you. Look at you, ZASLOW. You love to see it.
It was a really fun weekend. And how is okay? So Peter, Cheap Heat, you listen to it whenever you want. You got the podcast, all right. But Cheap Heat Live is every Friday now on the brand new Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. Which I mean, I've been they should have been doing that for years now. A 24/7 pro wrestling channel. How is that going? Do you love being able to do the show live now?
Listen, it's a totally different experience. It adds a new layer. God, I feel terrible. I can't remember this. I think it was my friend Joel. Yes, I had a friend of mine. I think it was Joel. No, it was my friend Zach. Yes, it was my friend Zach who pointed out, he said, I love listening to Cheap Heat Live because it's taking your Cheap Heat style that you've always done, which is very specific. And now that it's live on the radio, it like incorporates like just one layer of professionalism. Like, so it's this weird, I mean, you could probably hear the difference. It's a little bit of a blended thing of like radio Peter and podcast Peter, which isn't completely different, but as you know from doing both, it is different. And so like I do enjoy it. I mean, schedule wise, it's a little challenging, you know, like weeks like this with travel stuff, but getting to interact with people. And man, you know, like once you get to open the phones and you're able, like on a week where you're like, man, not a ton happened this week, but we can talk to callers who will provide some different thoughts or say something stupid or say something smart or provocative. It just adds another layer to it. So I love it. I mean, not even being like a shill, I got to be honest, like I turn on the channel every day when I'm in the car. I love hearing people talk about wrestling. So I enjoy listening to what everyone's doing on the channel.
Yep, I love being able to listen to Pro Wrestling Nation, Pro Wrestling 24/7, where just at any point in the day, it's a different show. Now, maybe it's a rerun of that show, but it's a different show all throughout the day. And it's great what you're doing there because besides that, Cheap Heat, the podcast is fantastic. Your show, it's so different from the other shows on the channel. Like, look, Busted Open is great. LaGreca's fantastic. Coachman's a pal of mine. He knows what he's doing. But your show is so different because you still blend in the personal life, and the other shows don't do that at all.
Yeah, I've gotten that from a lot of people that we stick out a lot on the channel. I mean, well, listen, you're a Miami guy. You know, like we pre-taped a segment or two for tomorrow because I'm in Paris, and we ended up doing an entire segment about our favorite Trick Daddy records. And I don't know how we got there, but we got, because we were talking about Bronson Reed. And SGG was saying, while he's apprehensive to ever use the word thug, he liked that Bronson Reed has sort of added this to his character. And then Dipperstein said, you know, I started talking about how that word is very fraught and has a lot of meanings. And Dip said, I only care about the definition as Trick Daddy meant it. And so then we end up in a whole Trick Daddy vortex. And yes, like, while I know all the shows can go different places, we do operate in with sort of a wrestling is the backdrop, but we do everything kind of thing.
Yeah.
That it's cool. Thank you. I think it does stick out on the channel, which is neat.
No, it's very much like a sports radio show where you're going to venture into the other guys' stuff, but it's always going to come back to sports. And that's essentially what you're doing there. So again, you check it out. It's live on Fridays, Cheap Heat Live. Otherwise, you check out the podcast. I want to get your thoughts here on something I talked about here on my show a couple days ago. So Becky Lynch cut that promo on Monday night. Becky and Nikki has been really fun in the ring, okay, with the back and forth. And Becky's been on fire. So they're fighting for the Intercontinental title this weekend in Paris. But Becky had the line where she was getting the good heat by saying how Ozzy Osbourne was the only good thing that came out of Birmingham, and Birmingham stinks so much that he left. And then you had Kelly Osbourne, who responded very angrily at Becky Lynch's comments. And the thing that I don't understand, Peter, you could be an asshole in a TV show, in a movie. You could be a racist asshole, a misogynist asshole, but it's a character. So how come when that character says something, maybe it's racist or maybe it's misogynistic or maybe insensitive, like talking about Ozzy just passing away, why does it become a thing? It's a TV show, Monday Night Raw.
But isn't that the beauty of wrestling? Like, isn't that the whole thing, that no matter how much everyone knows what it is, it still hits this feeling of reality where, like, you can't separate it. Like, totally hear what you're saying. You're completely right. And when you think about it, it's what makes it better than everything else. Because, yeah, Becky Lynch is a character, but, like, wait, isn't she Becky Lynch? Well, no, she's Rebecca Quinn. But, like, no one really knows that because she lives as Becky Lynch every day. When she goes on TV, she's billed as Becky Lynch. She's always basically Becky Lynch. So that's what makes it, to me, so fascinating. To me, I took no issue with it. Listen, if it was the day after Ozzy passed, okay. But to me, Becky had every right to say it, and Kelly Osbourne has every right to feel a way about it. Her dad just passed away. Totally get it. I just don't get any wrestling fans being sensitive about it. Like, it was a nothing burger. It was good old fashioned cheap heat, to coin the wonderful phrase that birthed the wonderful show. It really was that. That's it.
She's been great, as opposed to like her last heel run, which for whatever reason, it didn't really work. What she's doing right now seems to really be working.
Couldn't agree with you more. And by the way, does anybody notice the little subtle sort of? I'm only pointing this out because what I observe. Mm-hmm. But I can't help but notice the little Trumpian dig that she does.
Everyone says it.
It's not just me. Everyone says it. It's just a little spice that, if you're paying attention, it's her own commentary. It's her own little shots. She's adding her own little spice. She's just, she's in her bag. And frankly, another storyline from this match that's fascinating is I looked it up today. Nikki hasn't wrestled in a singles match in a PLE since 2018. Yeah. Evolution. Coming up on 7 years in October since a singles match at a PLE. That's an immense amount of time for someone who's 41. Granted, she looks like she's in as good a shape as she's ever been in, but going to be fascinating just to see what she looks like in there with Becky. I think they're going to bring it. Stoked. I love them both. So happy to see Nikki back. So, and also, I think Nikki's sticking around for a while. So I don't think it's a guarantee that Becky wins.
What do you think is the direction we're headed in with Cena? I'm sure Cena and Logan Paul will be fantastic because Logan Paul is really, really great. But it's almost like, how can Cena lose any matches before his final match? It would be weird if he lost. Like, there's no way he's losing this weekend to Logan Paul, and whoever, like, maybe it's going to be Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza after that. I feel like there's no way that Cena loses before his final match. It'd be weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about this a lot on Cheap Heat. I don't think he has to lose another match. And, particularly, like, unless his last match is like against some youngster where the win would just do everything, why does he have to? You know, why that idea? We're getting used to, like, we have to accept that this is a new era of professional wrestling. You know, that guys like you and I are doing radio shows about it. A whole channel exists about it. Unreal exists. Certain things just aren't the same. And I don't know that John Cena has to go out on his back. And I certainly don't think he should against a Brock Lesnar or a Randy Orton. Now, listen, if for some reason he ends up in a match with a Carmelo Hayes or whoever you want to fantasy book as that final match from a young guy standpoint, okay, but like, you're telling me, you know, and I argue the other side of this, truthfully, on my podcast. But if he had a match with Carmelo Hayes, and it doesn't look like they're going that way, but I always thought the whole Boston thing, it could be cool. If they ended up having a match and it went 30 minutes and it took John Cena everything, but he beat Carmelo Hayes, that still wouldn't do enough. Like, that would be putting Carmelo Hayes over. Like, I'm sorry. Whether he gets the win or not, he gets to be the one who says, I had John Cena's last match and I took him to the limit. To me, that's just as valuable as winning.
Who do you hope is going to be his last match?
You know, I know I've seen people fantasy booking the idea of Edge's deal is coming up. I think it gets to an interesting conversation about who is the ultimate John Cena rival, because I think that's who you really would love to see someone with. I mean, unless it's the perfect young person, like unless there's the exact right person who I'm not thinking of, I guess if I had to like have a fantasy, it really would be if it, and again, I don't know the details of Edge's contract, but if Edge's deal were up and Edge's music hit, to me, that would be the ultimate. That would be the way to end it. To me, Cena's top rivals are Edge and Orton. We already did Orton. I thought they kind of did away with it too quickly. I thought him and Orton deserved a little bit longer. And I wouldn't hate it being Orton either. But it seems like at this point they've gotten away from that.
Is there just no way that it's The Rock as his final opponent? We know what a big deal those two WrestleManias were. And you want the whole crowd rooting for Cena. You know, like if Edge comes back, plenty of people root for Edge. No one would be rooting for Rock.
Yeah, I mean, Cena against heel Rock would be great. And then you tie the whole thing up. But like, if that were going to happen, and again, this is us reading way too much into stuff and, you know, fans being too smart nowadays. But if that were the case, wouldn't John have sort of called him out by name as opposed to like that sort of half-assed way that he got out of being a heel that like everyone has been pretty critical of? Wouldn't you have just called it out instead of saying, oh, there are people who blah, blah. But the reason people argued he couldn't do that is there's no payoff. So, but who knows? Because The Rock calls his own shots, right? So
Right.
If The Rock schedule free, there is a chance they don't know who the last match is. And The Rock schedule frees up and he feels it and is like, yo, should I do it? You know, let's not, The Rock loves being the star of a moment, you know,
Right.
even if it's co-star.
Speaking of moments, and I think maybe I've talked with you about this before, and I haven't watched WWE Unreal. I'll get around to it at some point, but I come more along the lines of I don't need to know how the sausage is made, so I just haven't gotten around to it. But I have heard them talk about how their main MO now is they want to create these moments, and it's so great that that's where we are now with this business, where when I was a kid, man, the only thing I cared about was my favorite wrestler winning. It didn't matter how he won, even if the match was boring. Don't care. I just need Hulk Hogan to win, or I need Bret Hart to win. That's the only thing that mattered to me. And now, like I was explaining to my son when we were leaving MetLife Stadium after night number 1 and you had the Seth Rollins, like I wanted Punk to be the champion, but holy shit, what a moment that we were at one of the all-time great moments. And I love now how they lean into, they want to create moments for everyone.
And that was, I mean, that should have been Sunday night. My only complaint was probably that should have ended the weekend, because it was so. I mean, Brock coming back is a big deal, but I sort of operate from the standpoint of Brock's always coming back. I'm never that surprised when Brock comes back. I was legitimately floored when Seth came back. But I totally agree. I mean, those moments are what make this thing special. I mean, listen, you and I both talk about sports every day, and there are days talking about sports that are boring because there's no moment to discuss, and we're coming up with 50 different ways to talk LeBron and MJ again, or whatever, Aaron Judge isn't Derek Jeter, or we're going back to the same sort of tropes because you don't have the moments. What makes wrestling the best is that the moments keep happening. You knew when you took the trip with your son. It wasn't taking him to see a Heat road clinching game that they lose.
No, it's guaranteed great time.
That's it.
Yeah.
I went to a Celtics finals game in Boston against the Warriors. It sucked. Like, I was so stoked to get to go to the finals, and then they lost.
Yeah, like I feel like did you go to Game 7 Heat Celtics in 2023 when the Heat won? Tatum got hurt.
No, I went earlier in the series. I got to see the Celtics win a blowout in that series.
Okay, you saw Game 5 when the Celtics blew out the Heat. Okay,
Yes,
but to that
blowout.
point, like, you spend the money to go on the road, you're sitting on your hands all game because your team got blown out. Yet, WWE is going to give you a great show no matter what. Finally, here, Peter, the main event. Obviously, Seth Rollins is going to hold on to the title. It's too soon, but how do you see that going down with the four-way?
I don't know if someone gets involved. I don't know what the angle is here. It would obviously be shocking. There's just no way it's not going to be Seth. My guess is it's kind of an implosion of other people. I think LA Knight, maybe it's LA Knight and Punk, because they've been sort of getting at it, that's a place you can go with both. That could really elevate LA Knight, frankly, and gives Punk a good place to go to get him away from Seth for a little while. I'm guessing it's some sort of mishigas that leads to Punk, Seth getting a win, or maybe it's as simple as a Braun Breaker situation. But I just think, what are we doing? We got to be building Seth to be the biggest thing smoking. So I'm not sure what they'll do, but I'll be shocked if Seth doesn't walk out with the title.
What do you think is the direction they're going in? I assume WrestleMania, maybe Royal Rumble. What do you assume is the direction they're going in with Rollins? Is it Rollins defending against Reigns or Rollins defending against Punk?
It's just a matter of order of when you get to those, right? Like, him and Roman are a story you have to tell.
Gotta get it.
But Punk is the older one. I think you got to get to Punk sooner. So I think it's Punk first, and then we come back around to Roman. That would be my guess.
I think Roman and Bronson Reed feels like a big deal to me.
Well, that's great news. I mean, that's what you're looking for in that match, is a chance for Bronson Reed to elevate. Yeah, and Roman needs a good match. Roman needs a nice, good singles match at a PLE. So I agree. And I really am a Bronson Reed fan. So considering his injury a year and change ago to now see where he is, I'm super happy for him. But yeah, totally. It's an interesting time for Roman. Roman is still finding his way back to this version of what Roman Reigns looks like.
And he's got to eventually find his way back to Cody at some point. Maybe it's a year from now, but eventually, like, he needs to fight Cody again.
And he eventually needs to get away from even the bloodline colors. Like, we got to get new Roman at some point again. Time goats reinvent, and it'll be interesting to see if Roman reinvents again soon.
Lastly, one more here for you, Peter. Are you interested at all in Jericho, WWE? It seems like there's a lot of smoke there.
I hate to be this guy, but I have to tease Cheap Heat this week. We did about 20 minutes on this.
Okay.
Short answer, definitely interested.
Tell everybody, Cheap Heat, everything else you got going on, how they could hear you, how they could see you this weekend, of course, Clash in Paris.
Countdown show and post show this Sunday, of course, on Peacock for the last time. And then Cheap Heat Live, wherever you find podcasts, or live on Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I appreciate it, man. Enjoy Paris the rest of the weekend.
Thanks, dude.